Welcome to the Friends of Delray, a diverse group of Delray Beach residents coming together to build a positive city environment which is open and transparent. Our goal is to inform, share, and unite. Learn about what's happening in our village by the sea, from our pristine beaches to the corridors of City Hall. Hi, I'm Judy Mollica, moderator for Friends of Delray. Friends of Delray sent out a candidate questionnaire to all of the candidates running for the municipal election that we'll be voting for March 19th with early voting March 10th. We received a number of those back, and those that we did receive back, we're doing a video interview with the candidates. So the first set of interviews that we're doing is for seat 1. The 3 candidates running are Jim Chard, Tennille DeCoste, and Tom Marcourt. Unfortunately, we did not receive a questionnaire back from Mr. Marcourt, so we'll be hearing today from Jim Chard and Tennille DeCoste. Our first guest is Jim Chard. Jim, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Judy.
you for responding to our questionnaire.
It was a good questionnaire.
Thank you. Thank you. So what I'd like to do is spend a couple minutes and you just tell the audience who you are. And then of all of the questions, I'll pick a couple of the questions and allow you to answer them for the audience.
I'd love to answer them all.
I know, but we only have so much time in a day.
All right, okay.
So tell everybody about Jim Chard.
Well, just a little bit about me, because
Okay.
I really want to talk about Delray. But I have been passionate about cities all my life. In college, I put on a huge conference called Urban America, Crisis and Opportunity, and I wrote a book out of that. I then went to Harvard for city planning. And while there, I also got a degree in management of business, but it had a flavor of cities. After that, I spent a few years in New York City. I worked for 3 different mayors as sort of their right-hand person that implemented their major projects. One that I always remember is Yankee Stadium. It's
Oh, wow.
one that I did, and many others as well. I then worked for Citibank for quite a few years, particularly for the chair of Citibank, Walter Wriston, in charge of quality for the bank worldwide. And at one point in my career there, I got a call from David Rockefeller. And Mr. Rockefeller said that the city was in the process of going bankrupt and he was organizing management professionals who come in on sort of $1 a year basis to help right the ship. So I was assigned to running the largest super agency in New York City, which is the Human Resource Administration. All of the programs of food stamps and adoption and any of the sort of social services that were necessary in a city of that size. But I really discovered my true passion when I came down here about 20 years ago, and I found that Delray is a very open city to people who bring skills and passion and commitment. So I have been an elected official here. I have been an appointed official on boards, and I have also been involved with many, many not-for-profits. 2 of which I mention here is Community Greening, which I was a founding board member. We're in the process of planting tens of thousands of trees all over South Palm Beach County, but 10,000 here in Delray.
We had them as a guest on our show once. They're
Yes,
a fabulous
Mark,
organization.
yeah,
Congratulations
great
for
organization,
founding that.
Yes. And also a founding member of Friends of Delray. I felt that the last election was one that really accomplished a great deal in this city, and I'm hoping that I can be a contributor to that and build on it. I'm also the chair of the Historic Preservation Board, which is important for lots of reasons, but one of them is that the Historic Preservation Board is perhaps the key sort of leverage point to keep that village by the sea vibe that we all cherish. I was also the vice chair of the Chamber of Commerce in charge of advocacy and business development. So I've kind of been involved in lots of different areas of the city.
Wow. So 2 things. Number 1 thing is it's pretty impressive that you ran the largest municipality in the United States, or helped run it, right? That's pretty impressive. So Delray must seem kind of easy after that, maybe?
Not at all.
I guess small,
No.
so it's just different scale?
It's just different scale.
And
It's the same problems, whether it's education or housing or transportation. It's just a larger scale with a little bit more to work with, but it's the same thing.
got it. Second thing is full disclosure. Two of our candidates that we'll be interviewing were founding members or members of Friends of Delray. You are since off of the board since you decided to run, and one of our other candidates that is a friend of Delray resigned from the board to run as a campaign. And people go, why are there so many Friends of Delray people running in this election? Well, because we're Friends of Delray. I mean, it's people.
Well,
we're
I'd also
made
like
up
to
of a
add to
group.
that. If you look at the mission statement of Friends of Delray, it is to educate the public
Right.
on local issues so they are aware of who and what they should vote for. And as participating in that, I was really able to do an additional deep dive into the issues of the golf course or the water or the turnover in City Hall.
We've done good work. We miss you. So let me get to a couple of the questions, which you did not help write, by the way. I'm going to just do two of the several that we gave you. So as an experienced community leader, what do you consider your three greatest accomplishments? I know that you've mentioned probably a couple of those already, but what would you say are some of your biggest accomplishments here in Delray?
Well, first is being elected commissioner and vice mayor. That I think was a compliment to what I've accomplished here in the city, and I feel that in the short time that I was up there, a lot got accomplished.
Why were you up there for such a short time?
I made a decision to run against Shelley Petrolia for mayor, and the reason I did that is nobody else was running.
Okay.
And I, as dedicated as Mayor Petrolia is, I just don't agree with a lot of her policies. And so I took the step to run against her, and unfortunately, I didn't win.
Okay. Okay.
I think also the fact that I was vice chair of the comprehensive plan, which, if your listeners don't know, is the 25-year plan that the whole city comes together and decides what they want to be for the next 25 years. So it is really the stage setting for maintaining all the things that are good about Delray and addressing the issues that are coming upon us, like sea level rise and so forth.
Can I ask you a question about that? With the 25-year comprehensive, like, how long ago was that done? Do we need another one? Are we in the middle of that?
Well, this is actually the second one we've done.
Okay.
I think the first one was in about 1989. This one was written, I believe, in 2015 and approved in 2017. And there is 5-year updates.
Okay, got it.
But a 25-year plan is a long-term plan.
Okay.
The other thing that I would mention is my participation with Old School Square. School Square, we may talk about this later, but Old School Square is really the heart of the renaissance of Delray that happened back in the late 1990s and into the 2000s. And what it really demonstrated is that the arts and culture can really drive our economy. And I think we were one of the first cities to try that, to repurpose old buildings, put them to a public purpose, and that is to make us the epicenter, if you will, of arts and culture.
I am actually going to ask you a question about that later.
Okay.
So hold some of those thoughts. What is the Commerce for Advocacy and Economic? Oh, it's a Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry.
The Chamber is an amazing organization. They've got over 800 members, large and small, private, public, and also not-for-profits, and really address the issues that go before the state legislature, are involved in sponsoring all sorts of things in the city. And one of the things that I really worked on, and will work with them again when elected, is economic development. Not just downtown, but all of the parts of the city where we have businesses sprouting up. We have women-owned businesses. We have youth-owned businesses. We have tech businesses, non-tech businesses. We need to support that through sort of a partnership between the city and the chamber.
Good plan. I am a member and 3 different organizations of the Chamber. I'm a big believer in all of the goodness that they do. So this is about Old School Square. After all the debate and all the expense of over $5 million taxpayer dollars for Old School Square just so far, I feel like taxpayer dollars are funding the vast majority of the operation, not the vast majority, all of the
100%.
all of the operation of what I believe to be an important cultural center and, as you mentioned, economic driver of our city. If elected, how would you work towards the goal of making Old School Square autonomous from taxpayer support?
Well, let me give a little bit of history of Old School Square.
Okay.
And I'm always amazed at the number of people who took advantage of Old School Square but didn't really know the history. So it's important to know that 35 years ago, that corner of Main and Main, of Atlantic and Swinton, was a chain link fence, decaying buildings behind the chain link fence, proposals that could be a senior citizen center, proposals that maybe that could be a shopping center, and there was a better idea. The better idea was to make a cultural center. A very interesting and diverse group of people came together, raised lots of money, worked with the state and the county to have that property transferred to the Old School Square, and then from the Old School Square to the city, raised millions of dollars to do all of the rebuilding of these. These buildings are 100 years old. We didn't have the kind of hurricanes we have now. We didn't have the air conditioning that we have now. We didn't have the water systems. So a lot of work went into that, and we ended up with an amazing Cornell Museum. We ended up with a beautiful Crest Theater. The old gym was turned into a sort of a public meeting space, and then the amphitheater. But we had lots of other things going on that those who participated in them loved them, but not necessarily that they were well known. And I'm thinking specifically of the art school. There was a significant art school that did all kinds of art. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, Jim, I wish it was open again. I wish I was back there. It's one of the reasons I moved to Delray, or it's one of the reasons I come down here in the wintertime. So late one night on August 10th, 2021, the City Commission, what I call a rogue element of the City Commission, 3 people, decided to terminate the lease without cause, so there was no chance of resolving whatever it was or curing whatever it was to their problems. And the not-for-profit that paid 80% of the cost. So the cost ranged between $3 and $4 million a year. The operating cost, that doesn't even include the capital cost of maintaining and rebuilding 100-year-old buildings. 80% was tossed out. And the city has yet to refurbish the Crest Theater. It's still closed. They are about to open, hopefully, next month, the art classes, but to my knowledge, they do not have any programming to do that. They have spent, with the DDA, probably over $3 million to pick up from what the not-for-profit did.
And the DDA is also a taxing authority, too.
DDA is also a taxing authority, so in some senses, downtown is being taxed twice for the privilege. The DDA, Downtown Development Authority, has done a great job, I think, with the museum and with some concerts with taxpayer money. But I would also argue that the DDA's position or its mission doesn't really have much to do with the arts. It has to do with economic development and having businesses in the downtown thrive. So there is a solution to this. The city has tried to do an RFP, a request for a proposal, although it had a different name, and there were no bidders. Because it is very hard to run a 4-acre campus with activities every day.
It was a long time ago that they did that RFP with no bidders, correct?
That was 3 years ago.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. But they have now released something they're calling RFLI, a request for letter of interest.
Okay.
And there are several bidders to that. I'm in hopes that they will pick one of those very soon. And certainly when I'm elected, I'll push for that. And I'm in hopes that it will be a not-for-profit that will bring back the millions of dollars that the old not-for-profit did and get programming started as quickly as possible. Right now, it would be impossible to do any programming in the theater by 2025 because you have all that lead time. That if you want good talent in there, you hire it.
Takes a little time
2
to
years
book
ahead of
them.
time,
Right.
and you pay out cash to hold
Right.
that position. So there are some problems to solve. I think the city's headed in the right direction, and I want to be part of it.
Good for you. So we're going to wrap up now. So quickly tell the listeners what you'd like to tell them in 1 minute. No, I'm kidding. It's like those debates where big stop sign are up.
Well, all of us running for city commission claim certain competencies and supposed advantages over one another. I like to make the argument that when all the smoke is cleared and you really look at the facts, you look at who has accomplished what in Delray over the last 20 years, there's just no question. And I can point to activities across the board in Delray Beach in those 20 years. Whether it's acquiring the last undeveloped parcel on Lake Ida for the city, whether it's raising money for the public schools through the Delray Chamber Education Fund, whether it's founding or helping found community greening so that we can stop the deforestation of the city. I could go on, but I think what you can see is my knowledge, commitment, and accomplishments that I have passionately and lovingly done here in Delray for 20 years.
Thank you, Jim Chard. We welcome Tennille DeCoste. Tennille is running for Delray Beach City Commission, Seat 1. Tennille, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What I'd love for you to do is tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, and then I won't ask you all those questions that you were kind enough to fill out, but maybe just a couple of them,
Okay.
if that's okay, and then
Perfect.
you can wrap up and say something else.
Okay.
Easy, relaxed.
Love it.
All right, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you for having me, Judy. I appreciate that. So I am Tennille DeCoste. I'm running for Seat 1. And Judy, you heard this story before because you've been at numerous forums. Everywhere I turn, Judy's there. So I've been living in Delray for 6 years. I used to be the HR director for the city of Delray Beach. But what brought me to Delray is I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So just a quick note, any women who are out there who do not have the resources, please reach out to somebody. I didn't have it. I reached out to a friend. They opened the door, which happens to live in Delray Beach, and that's what saved my life. So that's why I ended up in Delray Beach. Used to live in Parkland, but Delray Beach is so beautiful with our coast, our beaches, and everything else. So I have 22 years of experience in government. HR director for the city of Boynton Beach currently. Just saved them $1.4 million. Was the HR director of Delray, saved the city $1 million. And the city HR director, division director for the city of Miramar, and saved them $2.2 million. I have a master's degree. Also, I am a certified mediator from the Florida Supreme Court and also certified in employment law. My passion and the 3 pillars I stand on are faith, family, and public safety. And that's it about
Very
me.
nice. Quick question.
Yes.
I have heard some of the things that you've said, and it's never a question-answer form, but how did you save the cities that money?
You go in and you look at the budget and you see what you can change and you talk to the employees. So what I did is I looked at their benefits. For example, Delray Beach. We had a certain vendor for 16 years. The prices were going up every year. When I was hired, I looked at it. The employees weren't happy with the benefits. I did an RFP. We brought in another vendor, saved the city $1 million, and enriched the benefits for our employees, which allows us to retain our employees and attract better employees.
Okay, very good. And the same was true of the other
Yes,
cities,
Boynton.
just kind of looking at some of the vendors and
Yes.
fine-tuning and
And there's being self-insured for insurance or being insured yourself. And it depends on your claims and so forth, if you should be self-insured or not self-insured. So with Boynton, we went self-insured. Delray was already self-insured. And City of Miramar, we went self-insured.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I've
Yes,
always
ma'am.
wondered about that. So a couple of the questions.
Yes.
Well, I won't number it because we're not doing it in order. Now that there is a movement, there's some movement with the set transformation plan, what parts would you consider most important to implement first?
Okay. So yes, the SET transformation plan is an amazing plan. And I don't know why that it's taken the city so long. It took the city so long to actually adopt it and move forward with it. There's 6 pillars. All of them are important, but the number one item that's important is including the residents. They should be at the table making decisions for our city to go forth. So there's community capacity building, civic stewardship, community wealth building, health community, placemaking and strategic investments. All of them important, but you can't move it and we can't reach our goal unless they're at the table making decisions with us. So as a city, and of course my government experience, we should stop making decisions without the residents' input. And I think that's what's most important, that they should be at the table as well.
Absolutely agree. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So regarding Delray schools, and in light of the recent Ferguson report, which exposed some major issues with kindergarten readiness and grade level reading, how would you address these and other key deficiencies in our school?
So, as a city commissioner, we cannot dictate or mandate what Palm Beach schools should do, but there are options to work closely with them. I think if you build that relationship with the Palm Beach School Board, we have some amazing school board members, 2 of them I've been endorsed by, and if you work close to them and actually bring programs to the community. We have hardworking mothers and fathers out there that, they're working 3 jobs just to keep their home or pay their bills, and they don't really have time to sit down, let's go through the homework. When my grandchildren come home, I'm sitting there helping them with their homework. My oldest daughter's helping them because they live with me, and it's taking my daughter and sometimes me about 2 to 3 hours just to do homework. And it's because how in depth, and you have to check, and they don't understand. You have to go through it
When they're little, and then as they get older.
Yes,
right.
yes. So I think that if we bring more programs into the city, to our residents, work with the nonprofits. I own a consulting firm, and I go to the nonprofits and I actually train on reading, how to write a resume, and so much other stuff, which I went to Atlantic High School one year and I had some senior football players did not know what a resume was. That's scary. You're about to graduate and you don't know that. We have to pour into our children because they are our future. I was a previous PTA president. I actually was just nominated for a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award because I advocate so much for children and education, and especially our great teachers, which I was just endorsed by the CTA union for running for this position. And the biggest item that's near and dear to me, that's so important, my son survived the Parkland shooting. And, mental health is extremely important. He's not the same, I'm going to call him a man because he's a man now, but the little boy that I raised for the past 18 years, he's 24 now. But, I want to make sure our Delray residents do not go through what I went through, what my son went through, their grandchildren, their children. So I'm a big advocate on education. It's so important to me, and we have to work closely with the school board in order to make sure our children are getting the best education, making sure nobody's left behind, there's no failure. And in order to do that, you need the relationships, which I have.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, as we wrap up, would you like to tell our listeners anything?
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you for having me again. This is
course.
amazing. To my voters, to the residents of Delray, I ask for your opportunity to be your next commissioner for seat 1. I am experienced. I have the education, the only candidate with over 22 years experience in government, which is extremely important. Not only do I have the Delray, working in Delray Beach, but I have other perspectives for different cities, which is important because what Delray's not doing, I can bring here and move it forward. And we are moving forward, we just need a little more push. So when you go to the polls, and it's so easy to remember, like Captain and Tennille, my parents love that group, that's why my name is Tennille. Remember to vote for Tennille DeCoste for seat 1. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining Friends of Delray, addressing the relevant issues facing our community. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and please sign up for our newsletter at our website, friendsofdelray.us. We believe Delray is at its best when we work together.